U.S. announces 25% new tariffs on Chinese tech goods. China and the U.S. averted a trade war by reaching an agreement on May 20 under which Beijing agreed to significantly increase its purchases of American goods and services to reduce $375 billion trade deficit with Washington. The U.S. will impose a hefty 25% tariff on the $50 billion worth of Chinese goods containing industrially significant technology, the White House said today, days after the two sides reached an agreement and vowed not to launch a trade war against each other. China and the U.S. averted a trade war by reaching an agreement on May 20 under which Beijing agreed to significantly increase its purchases of American goods and services to reduce $375 billion trade deficit with Washington. After lengthy second round of talks in Washington, the two sides issued a joint statement vowing not to launch a trade war against each other. The United States will impose a 25% tariff on $50 billion of goods imported from China containing industrially significant technology, including those related to the Made in China 2025 program, the White House said in a statement. The final list of covered imports will be announced by June 15, and tariffs will be imposed on those imports shortly thereafter, it said. The new tariff is part of one of the three major steps that the U.S. is taking based on the March 22 memorandum signed by President Donald Trump. It announced that the U.S. would take multiple steps to protect domestic technology and intellectual property from certain discriminatory and burdensome trade practices by China. These actions were announced following a report of the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative regarding China's practices with respect to technology transfer, intellectual property and innovation. In accordance with the March 22 memorandum, Trump has been updated on the progress of the announced actions. According to the White House, to protect its national security, the U.S. will implement specific investment restrictions and enhanced export controls for Chinese persons and entities related to the acquisition of industrially significant technology. The proposed investment restrictions and enhanced export controls will be announced by June 30 and they will be implemented shortly thereafter, it said. The U.S. will also continue to pursue litigation at the World Trade Organization for violations of the Agreement on Trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights based on China's discriminatory practices for licensing intellectual property, the statement said. The U.S. filed the case regarding these violations on March 23. In addition, the U.S. will continue efforts to protect domestic technology and intellectual property, stop non-economic transfers of industrially significant technology and intellectual property to China, and enhance access to the Chinese market, the White House said. Likewise, the U.S. will request that China remove all of its many trade barriers, including non-monetary trade barriers, which make it both difficult and unfair to do business there, it said. The U.S. will request that tariffs and taxes between the two countries be reciprocal in nature and value. Discussions with China will continue on these topics and the U.S. looks forward to resolving long-standing structural issues and expanding our exports by eliminating China's severe import restrictions, the statement said. The trade spat between the top two economies of the world began last month with Trump imposing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports into U.S. China retaliated by imposing additional tariffs worth about $3 billion on 128 U.S. products. Trump, while demanding China to reduce the $375 billion by $100 billion, retaliated with $50 billion tariffs on Chinese products. In retaliation, China announced plans to impose new tariffs of 25% worth $50 billion on 106 American products, including items like soybeans, which could hurt American farmers. The two countries have not yet implemented their tariff increases.